Okay. All right. So, Matt, I think we can start.
Sure
It
thing.
is
Let's go for
it is 1:03. So, welcome everyone to the Acronis Online Backup for Microsoft Teams webinar. My name is Roman Zmeev. I'm the product marketing manager for the Continuity line of products here at Sherweb. With us today, we have my colleague Matt Chanfurani. He's the product sales manager for Continuity. And yeah, he'll be able to basically present to you what we've been doing with online backup and the major new feature that we're releasing very, very soon. I'll let Matt give you all the details. But yeah, without further ado, Matt, go ahead and talk to us about Teams backup.
Perfect. Awesome. We'll jump to the next slide right away. For those of you that are not familiar with Sherweb, just to give you the quick background here, we've been in business since 1998, and we currently have over 7,500 partners and 100,000 client organizations. So as I was mentioning, we have just over 1,400 employees across North America. Our tagline is that we are more than a cloud marketplace. We offer comprehensive solutions for our MSPs and partners that range from Microsoft licensing to full-fledged continuity solutions, like what we're going to talk about today, as well as infrastructure as a service and a lot of other things. So we're happy to talk to you. We have a full pre-sales team that can help you position any of our products with your customers, as well as understand them and how to move forward. But today's topic is to talk about online backup, which is powered by the Acronis portal and the new Microsoft 365 Teams backup options that we've enabled on the platform. One of the most common questions that I get when we're talking about this product is, why do I have to back it up? It's cloud-based. Microsoft has the information. Why do I need to back it up? Well, in order to answer that question, we have to understand what Microsoft calls the shared responsibility model. Highlighted on the screen here, we'll show you Microsoft's responsibility is the data set, the network controls, the applications, and the virtualization of their infrastructure. They control the servers and the hardware that your data is on. The actual data information, the endpoints, your access management, and your applications is your responsibility. This means that if you have any type of a breach where data is deleted, or let's say accidental deletion of data, Microsoft is not responsible outside of their standard backup retention, which would in some cases be between 30 and 60 days. That's where you want to bring in a third-party backup tool like the Acronis M365 suite. The key takeaway here is that Microsoft will provide your infrastructure resilience, but data protection is always your responsibility. So why use Acronis for backing up your Microsoft Teams? Acronis will back up other items in Microsoft 365 suite as well, such as your email, your Exchange, your OneDrive, your SharePoint, and now your Microsoft Teams. It's an agentless solution. You authenticate your account with your Microsoft 365 global admin credentials, and you import a list of users in SharePoint sites, and of course now Teams chats and channels, and from there you can schedule them for backup and then effortlessly restore them through their web UI. Acronis Online Backup will also monitor your Microsoft products for vulnerabilities with a comprehensive reporting suite and something called a cyber fit score, which I'll be showing you in a few minutes. And of course, ensuring your critical data is backed up and recoverable will help you meet compliance with legal and regulatory mandates. More and more often, we're seeing different states and provinces across North America put stronger and stronger requirements in for you to have your data protected and backed up. It's extremely important for you to realize that in some cases, your backup with a third-party system is mandatory, not an option. Some key features about the Teams backup specifically with Acronis. The product will protect your channels, teams, and conversation history, all files and documents within the Teams chat channel, the entire structure of those files and messages, and will allow you to restore both specific teams and channels and individual files and folders. The onboarding is extremely easy. I'll be demonstrating that to you in just a moment. With that, we're going to flip over to our production environment. Again, this is a production Acronis environment here, and we're going to be showing you some things on a live tenant. Up on the screen here, I have our overview. This is the monitoring dashboard for the Acronis suite. I'm going to show you another environment in a few minutes with some more data populated, but you can see that you have a number of activities that are shown here on the right-hand side that are color-coded to show you whether or not you've had successful or failures inside your backups. As you can see on the 21st of September, I disabled the tenant, so we have something to illustrate you, but there were 2 warnings that the backup could not properly or fully complete. The rest of the days, things have been successful because I re-enabled that tenant. Onboarding your Microsoft 365 environment is easy and completely web-based. On the left-hand side here, if we click on devices, there's an add button on the top. From here, you'll be able to onboard any type of workload that you like. For workstations, we offer Windows and Mac. For servers, Windows and Linux. Mobile devices, as well as virtualization integrations with different virtualization vendors such as Hyper-V and VMware. Scrolling down, we also have integrations with things like Microsoft SQL Server, Exchange, and Active Directory that will allow a granular restore of that data from the Acronis UI. For our purposes today, you'd be clicking on Microsoft 365 Business and then authenticating with your Microsoft account. Since I've already onboarded our tenant, let's go ahead and take a quick look as to what this would show you once onboarded. This is my tenant name. So here you go ahead and see yourbusiness.onmicrosoft.com, the business's name, and you'll have some folders on the side here. Groups, public folders, site collections, teams, and users. Let's start by going through public folders. Looking inside the public folders is where you would see publicly shared folders inside your OneDrive. Site collections will show you SharePoint sites that have been created across your tenant. As you can see here, I have one available. Microsoft Teams will show you all backup teams inside that tenant. And users will show you all backed up users inside your Acronis environment. To back everything up, all you have to do is click on the category you want and click on either the group backup option, which will be a global backup policy for all users in that tenant, or you can have individual backup policies set for a specific user, SharePoint site, or team. Inside here, you'll see that we have some options available to us, including what are we backing up? You can select your M365 mailboxes, your OneDrive account, and I'll show you this for Teams in a second, where you're going to back that up to. So in this case, we're going to Sherweb's cloud storage, your schedule, and your retention periods. It's important to note with retention periods, this is completely customizable. You can set as long of a retention as you'd like based off of compliance in your area or whatever you're most comfortable with. You also have an option to enable encryption. Should you do so, you will have to specify a password. This password will be used to decrypt those backups, something you don't want to forget, so keep that in a good password manager. Once you've applied that, your job will run based off of that schedule. You'll have a Run Now option and button here at the bottom of the backup group, which will allow you to trigger a manual backup job when needed. Moving to the next tab down, we have our recovery area. This is where we're able to restore M365 items back to that tenant or export them in certain cases. If I take yesterday's backup, which completed at 11:27 p.m., and I click on Recover, I have a few options: entire mailbox, email messages, or as a PST. Restoring an entire mailbox will allow you to select the mailbox and then restore the entire mailbox to that point in time of the backup. Selecting email messages will display a privacy warning, letting you know that you will have visibility into the emails that are inside this account, and then allow you to select individual emails through the folder tree of their inbox and then restore them back to the Microsoft tenant. As PST, we'll take the data that you're restoring, so the mailbox, and export it as a PST. This is also good for local archiving. In some cases, you'll have a user that's being deleted or being deactivated and you want to grab for compliance and export PST of what they have. You can do so with one click. Pivoting to the new feature with Microsoft Teams, you have the ability, once again, to create a backup policy. So I'm going to add the backup policy plan here. You choose whether or not you want to include OneNote, which I recommend you do. OneNote is used very frequently and has vital data where to back it up, the schedule, how long to keep it, and if you want encryption or not. When we're covering Microsoft Teams data, you have few options here. You can choose an entire channel, an entire team, including all the channels inside of it, email messages that have been sent to Teams from their email integration, or a Teams site. If I select the channels, now keep in mind, this one does not yet have that much data in it, but we're going to see what we have. We'll see we have a general channel here inside, and we can choose between conversations and files, and then restore them accordingly. These will go directly back to your Microsoft tenant and be visible from there. Choosing the entire team, once again, will allow you to choose the entire team. This will restore the entire thing back to the point in time that the backup was taken.
Quick question, Matt. So you mentioned backing up channels, files. So can we back up, restore private Teams chats, or only channels and files?
That's a great question. I saw that come in via chat. For privacy purposes and with Microsoft's current architecture, you cannot. So you can only back up and restore data that is put in public channels. This does mean that your private conversations are in fact private to the eyes of the backup.
Thank you.
Not a problem. A couple other quick things to show here on our sidebar menu. Under the Details tab, we'll see some overall information, such as showing the organization name, your total size of backups being stored in the cloud storage. This is something that is increasingly important to know, so you know as an MSP or as a partner what you're invoicing your client, and this data will synchronize back to your Sherweb Cumulus portal as well, so you can see your total backup usage, as well as your activities, which is an at-a-glance view of all the activities that have taken place in here. So whenever you've applied a backup policy, initiated a restore, the system's done some indexing, it will all be visible to you here. Any alerts, which will include items like failed backup jobs, credentials that may be incorrect, permissions that may be incorrect, will be highlighted here, and of course highlighted in your monitoring page, which was the one we started on at the beginning of the webinar. And of course, you can do some grouping here as well. So you can group your Microsoft Teams channels and accounts to make sure that you're backing things up. You might have some departments you're backing up daily, some you only want to back up weekly. Totally up to you and totally customizable. I'm going to go ahead and switch here over to another tenant that I have inside the Acronis Online Backup, and that's to show you some additional information that will pop up when you're backing up multiple items inside the portal. Inside here, I have a virtual machine that I'm backing up, and we also have the CyberFit score. The CyberFit score is a score out of 850 that the Acronis software will take a look at various things happening on your server and provide you with information and key indicators that you need to fix something. In this case, my VM is scoring 550 of 850, so better than some, not 100% great though, and it'll tell us why. We do have malware and backup enabled, but the firewall is currently enabled only for public networks. We don't have a VPN, we don't have disk encryption, and we have another flag for NTLM traffic there as well. I highly recommend as an MSP that when you're using this software, you set up proper reporting around the CyberFit score. It's an excellent way to view the fleet of devices you're backing up and see where critical vulnerabilities may lie. Last thing to show you before we jump into our Q&A in a few minutes is just some restoration changes that have happened within the Acronis portal recently. When you're viewing all your devices are now laid out in an easier to use view. When you see your device name, you have the option to back them up, which I've just gone ahead and selected a recovery plan for, or start a recovery of that virtual machine. This sidebar looks more comprehensive than on the Microsoft 365 side because you have more options available to you. But when you're recovering a virtual machine or server or workstation, you have the ability to recover the entire machine. This will include driver detection if you're going to dissimilar hardware, which is something that the Acronis software does excellent. And of course, individual files and folders for anything that has been deleted. New to the suite here as well, we do have some new features here regarding connecting, allowing you to remotely connect and restart your Acronis agent or workload from the portal. This is all brand new, and all of this, including the Microsoft Teams backup, is being rolled out to our clients in the next day or two. If you have any questions about how to use this, don't hesitate to reach out to your account manager or myself. With that, I see we have a couple more questions to come in and chat here, Roman. If you want, we can go ahead and start looking at those.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Matt. So, first question is regarding the backup data location. So, can you maybe provide more information around local versus cloud backup?
Sure, absolutely. I'm going to click on the backup storage option here inside the Acronis portal and illustrate a couple things. You have quite a few options as to where you're storing your data. By default, your Acronis Online Backup system will store to Sherweb's cloud storage. This is located in either Canada or the United States, so you can have your geographic residency rules in place as needed. There's also an add-on that you can add inside of Cumulus that will allow you to add local storage. It's built a little bit differently, but if you click on the add location here under backup storage, you'll be able to choose where you want to store this data. It can be local to a device that's already being backed up. It can be something over the network or on an NFS folder. I do recommend cloud storage for those that are wanting to be fully redundant or, let's say, recoverable in the event of a physical disaster like a flood or fire. But having this local storage option available means that you can keep costs lower and have more flexibility as to where you're storing that data.
Perfect. Thank you. Another question is, what type of reporting is available to see if a backup is completed?
Sure, absolutely. So we have that in two areas. We have the monitoring page, which is the frontline page that I've showed a couple times here. This is where you're going to view your CyberFit score, as well as your activities that are activities timeline here. Hovering over this will tell you how many successful warning or failed jobs you have at any point in time. You also have the reports option here on the left menu. This is where you can actually create reports or use some prefab ones to give you information about the workloads that you're running. So under the alerts tab here, you can see my 5 latest and my active reports are empty because I don't have any active alerts for my infrastructure. I did have one the other day telling me I needed to reboot one of my VMs. So it was nice to have that up here and visible to me. But of course, your summary here and any errors that you can see. All of these reports as well can be configured to send to you. So you can have email notifications of these alerts as well as job failures. Under the settings tab and email notifications, you can define where these are going and when. I don't have any alerts configured right now, that's why nothing's showing, but you can have these go out to a certain number of mailboxes and you can just click add policy. As you can see, it's comprehensive. You can have it trigger alerting even if you have CPU or memory utilization issues, so performance issues on the workloads directly. This is great because it's not just reporting on what the backup software is seeing, but what the overall ecosystem of all your devices is looking like.
Thank you, Matt. Very comprehensive answer. There's a question regarding backups encryption. I think you did show us that there's a way to encrypt your backups. Could you maybe elaborate or maybe show us again how it's done?
Sure, absolutely. So whenever you're setting up a backup policy for a device, I'm going to actually jump back to my other tenant here just to illustrate this. Devices, let's go to our team setup here. Click on backup and we'll add a backup plan. Encryption is going to be an option. You can't have more than one backup plan assigned to teams, so this one won't illustrate, but if I did under Microsoft users, it would show, for example. You get to specify all the encryption information yourself. So again, you get to select a password. This password is only known to you and not known to anyone else, as well as your encryption algorithm. You have 3 options here for the type of encryption level you want. When a backup is encrypted, it's important to know you cannot view the contents of that backup inside this portal unless you have that password. So you want to keep in mind that you have to have that password well documented for staff, well documented for internal policy as well. But this means that the content of your backups is invisible to us as the infrastructure holders.
Thank you. So at this point, I have no other questions in the chat. I think I'm gonna wait another maybe 30 seconds if there's any last questions that are going to come in. So I'll give everyone another 30 seconds to type their question. Um, so I believe we have no other questions, Matt. So I think we can wrap this up. So uh, thanks a lot for a great presentation. I'm I'm sure it was super useful for I'm sure it was super useful for everyone who attended today. If you have any questions, like Matt mentioned earlier, you can reach out directly to your account manager. You can also write to us, by visiting our website, or you can reach out directly to Matt, by email. Um, Also, this presentation will be followed by an email with the recording, so you'll be able to rewatch it at your own convenience. And if you had any questions, you'll be able to find your answer in that presentation. So, Matt, thanks a lot again for presenting this. Thanks for everyone who attended today, and I want to wish everyone a great day.
Thank you, everyone. Take care.
Thank you. Bye bye.